Hello everybody, this is Zach Kiesling with Kiesling Films. Today I am joined by the Mythology Guy. Thank you for being here, sir.
Hey, yeah, no problem. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So let's get right into it. So what got you into mythology in the first place?
I get asked that a lot, so I probably have this story memorized beat for beat at this point. When I was around 3 years old, that's the earliest I can remember, my mom would read me Greek myths from a book she had in her house called Dowleri's Greek Myths, and I just immediately just loved it as a little kid. That was one of the first books I ever read all the way through, and as I got older, anytime I could find anything Greek myth related, I would keep reading it. It's because my mom's from the Georgia that's in Europe, and over there Greek mythology is very popular. And, as I got older, I later got a new game called Age of Mythology that turned me on to Egyptian myth and Norse myth. My dad would buy me a book series called Horrible Histories because he wanted me to learn more stuff, and that got me into Aztec myth, and it just kept going from there.
Very cool, very cool. Well, so what started making you want to make videos on covering mythology?
Honestly, it was my business partner / one of the closest people in my life. Her name is Wilda. She still helps me with the channel today. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today. She's very busy because she works her butt off. But yeah, I used to do stand-up comedy and some other forms of comedy, and I really wanted an outlet for it because due to stuff locking down and other such things, there wasn't really a lot of places where I could go do that, and Wilda knew how much I was into that, and she knew how much I was into mythology. So she actually told me, TikTok's really popular right now, and it's really short videos, stuff that seems easy to record. Why don't you try making videos on there as an outlet? And a niche that I don't really see on TikTok, this is her saying this, is mythology, and you're super into mythology. You could probably make that funny. Literally all of it was her idea, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And it eventually started to just light up on TikTok. This one video I made where literally the whole up until this point I was lucky to get 100 views, but at one point I was on a trip and I just went outside and improvised a video where, hey, we're in Greece, and if something's humping your leg, that's Zeus, watch out. And that video got tens of thousands of views, and from then on, it was just a steady growth from there. And, a friend of mine said, why don't you also just take all your TikTok videos and put them on YouTube? Because you might as well, see if you can grow an audience there. And I did, and yeah, it's worked out pretty well.
Very nice. So what's been the hardest video to make on mythology for you?
Ooh, okay. The absolute hardest one, it's probably somewhere between my Mulan review and my Lightning Thief review, because my Mulan review was the first review video I ever made. I made it because I hit 1,000 subscribers and I really wanted to put something special out. 1,000, man, that was a long time ago. Yeah, oh man, the channel's come a long way. But yeah, I literally, because I don't live alone, I live in a house where people work from home, and so it's hard enough just to make a short video. Making a 30-minute review video was not easy at all. I had to literally stay up all night to do it, all night going through the movie, recording different scenes, and I had to edit it myself, and I don't know how to edit. Anyone who watches the Mulan video can tell this guy does not know how to edit. So I spent about 20 hours straight making the video, and I was ready to pass out and die by the end of it, and I put it up, it immediately got copyright claims, so that wasn't fun. But eventually it got cleared, and it's good to have it up. It's either that or the Percy Jackson one, because the Percy Jackson one is longer and was technically more work in that respect, but I didn't edit that one. A friend of mine edited that, so it's hard to say which one was harder.
Okay. Hey, so what's been your favorite video to do on mythology?
I have a lot of fun just making Zeus a total pervert, honestly. There's a whole playlist of that on my channel at this point. It's just fun to just play a douchebag, honestly. It's a lot of fun to pretend to be a douchebag, because I like to think I would never act like that in real life, so it's fun to just do it on for a joke or something.
That's always true. That can be fun. So what has been some of the challenges on covering the various mythologies you cover on your channel?
Mm. Well, one of the big challenges is if you get one thing wrong, no matter how small, everyone will let you know about it. Trust me. And one thing that makes that difficult is, mythology has been retold so many times over the centuries that there's several different versions. And sometimes there's something someone just makes up. And it's hard to tell what's legit and what's not. You have to find multiple sources for certain things. Like I've got all these books in my house, and usually I use those as my main source, but even then I sometimes go on the internet to try to find a second source or even a third depending on the video. And even then sometimes I make a mistake or get something wrong, and that's all anyone in the comments wants to talk about, which, fair, it's wrong, but it is a little stressful sometimes because you really want to make sure you're getting this kind of stuff right, even when you're making jokes about it.
Absolutely, that makes sense. And so what is one of the most common misconceptions people have about mythology and educating them about that in your videos?
The most common mistake, it really is, honestly, people assuming there's one definitive version of each story. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't tell you the number of times I've seen people argue, like, that's not what happened in the story, and someone else comes in and goes, oh, you're thinking of the 45 BC version. This is the 200 BC version. And, people go off about that all the time. Like some people saying, oh, well, this one's older, so this is the canon one, or this is the more popular one, so this is the canon one. Truth is, nothing's canon. It's a legend. You can't really be canon. So that's, I'd say the most common misconception is, that there's one definitive version of stuff, when the truth is it's been retold so many times that no, not really.
So what is your specific favorite mythology to cover, like from Greek, Latin, and Chinese? What is your particular favorite out of them all?
It's somewhere between Greek and Japanese. Because Greek I know the best. It was my first mythology. I've known it the longest, so I have the most Greek myth knowledge, so that makes it a little easier to cover. But Japanese is so much fun. Mm-hmm. Like, Japanese is crazy mythology. It's kind of easy to make videos about it because you're like, well, here's some really, really weird stuff. Like, that's a joke by itself. I don't have to come up with stuff just like, oh, a giant foot crashed through a person's ceiling. How do you not make a joke about that? And yeah, it's really funny. And I always love it when someone watches one of my videos and in the comments, they're like, this can't be real. Then they reply to their own comment, okay, I looked it up and now I'm traumatized or something. That's always hilarious.
That does sound really hilarious to get that. So, out of mythological creatures, what is your favorite mythological creature?
I like any creature that's a bunch of different animals put together because I love the creativity of that. I think growing up, one of my favorites was always the chimera for that very reason. I mean, that's just an all over the place creature. You got head of a lion, body of a goat, tail of a snake, 3 heads, all of them breathing fire for some reason. I love how unique and weird and creative that is. I also really like Cerberus because I'm a dog lover. But yeah, hey, I like the height.
Yes, Cerberus is a good boy. Hey.
Yeah.
All right, so I wanted to ask you, I saw that you've been creating a card game. How has that been like to create your own trading card game?
Oh, it's a dream come true. I came up with this game idea when I was a little kid. I used to play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's amazing to actually see it happening now. Like, I started actually making it on my computer in what was I, 22? 6 years ago. And yeah, now with all my savings have gone into paying all of our artists and everything, because I don't pay people in exposure like an asshole. I pay people with money, which means I don't have any savings left, but it has resulted in hundreds of beautiful images. It's like almost every time we get one of these fully realized, it makes me want to cry a little bit. I don't know how to describe the kind of feeling when you've had like a dream of creating a product and eventually it gets to the point where you can see that product created, not obviously not 100% the way you envisioned it, but even in some ways better than the way you envisioned it sometimes. And it's just like, wow, like, that's amazing. And that's another thing that's happening because of my business partner, Wilda. Like, she helped me find all those artists, and Like, the game was like I was making it, but it wasn't making real business progress until she came along and helped me with all that. And man, thank God for her. Yeah.
So what's the general idea behind the card game itself? How would you play the game?
All right, yeah. I'll try to give you a quick rundown. So what you do in the game is you summon mythical characters like the Minotaur or Jason or Zeus, and the basic objective is you want to kill your opponent's characters, and when you kill your opponent's characters, you get points. You get a certain number of points, you win the game. Like you can play during your turn, you can play like monsters and warriors with no cost because they're in the same like power level. But if you want to play like gods or minor gods, you're going to have to sacrifice guys you already had on the field. So ideally, you want to get the big powerhouses on the field because they're going to be able to wreck more stuff. You can make your guys stronger by giving them what are called equip cards, like famous weapons, armor, and horses from mythology, like Zeus's lightning bolt or Athena's Aegis shield or Pegasus, and they can get even stronger. You can also play locations from mythology, which apply to everyone and give a buff to certain types. Like you can play the underworld, it'll make all the dark types stronger. You can play Mount Olympus, it'll make all the gods stronger. And then there's effect cards, which are just like, like Smite. You play this, it immediately kills somebody. Like it's that kind of thing. So it's basically that. You want to play guys, you want to make them stronger, you want to wipe out your opponent's guys.
Very nice, very nice. Sounds like a very fun game. Where can people pick this up at?
It is eventually going to launch on Kickstarter. Game is almost done. Like we're actually in the very late stages of production. So we're really hoping we can get it out this year, and it's really looking like it will come out this year. Things would have to go very wrong for it to not come out this year.
Well, I'm gonna knock on some wood for you to keep Murphy off your back, and I hope that everything comes out for you.
Yep.
On that, I look forward to seeing that. So, how long do you plan on covering mythology, and if not, what other subjects would you be willing to cover on your channel?
Well, I don't see why I would stop covering mythology, period, because there's just so much of it. Honestly, I think I could do this the rest of my life and still not even cover half of what's out there. But, there are, if I was going to cover other things on the channel, there are, things I like to joke about. A long time ago, I wrote a whole bunch of sketches that never really saw the light of day that weren't myth-related. They were just kind of, like I said, I did stand-up comedy, so they were just kind of stuff with current events or joking about, doing a parody Windows updates commercial where it's just like, do you need Windows updates? You don't, but we're going to make you take them anyway. That kind of stuff. Or maybe I'll get back into doing more stand-up comedy and post some of that on YouTube or something like that. That's probably the kind of stuff I'd do.
All right, very cool. Very cool. Well, that's all my questions for you today. I want to thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. And everybody, please subscribe to the Mythology Guy. Links to his channel below. Please subscribe and support him. He's a great guy. Hey, thank you for being here, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me here.
All right.